Okay, and we're going.
Okay, so let's see, what is this about then? Let's go through what we have so far. I'm gonna just bring it up on my screen so we can read it together here.
Do you want to screen share that so we can see?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. All right, that's probably a bit too big. So let me just resize this to something that people with a normal monitor can see. if Ubuntu stops trying to resize things for me, right?
Okay.
There we go.
Okay, so let's go through this. We've got a really basic, well, reasonably basic domain. So we've got booking a room for a hotel, right? So say we're some hotel booking website, funnily enough. All the rooms paid in advance. The holiday period super saver rate is like £200. Obviously, it's in sterling because I'm British, and that's how we do it. We got a flexible rate which allows cancellations and stuff. So actually, I've kind of missed that off there, so that might be useful to add in as well. If you book in the term time when all the kids are at school, then it's going to be cheaper, because that's basically what happens in the real world. Loyalty card points we can use in blocks of 500 points, and you get a discount by £50, and you earn 1 point for each £10 you spend. So it's a terrible loyalty card scheme, actually, looking back at it now, but I don't care. This is not a real hotel, so it doesn't matter.
It looks very real. That's basically what happened in the real world.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, so I've just written a few scenarios which basically demonstrate those rules, with some examples there. And the plan is to go through and do some event storming about how this, and how we can model this in a domain model. So we've got this other tool, real-time board. Should we switch to that? Where we can add stickies and stuff, which is kind of fun. Your stickies are huge.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna figure that out. So anyway, let's see, medium, large. Yes, that was like extra large. Okay, so let's see, what do we want to do? Let's actually look at what is the relevant part of the domain. I guess this is a booking for a hotel application. So if we were to work for a client that has a reservation system, what can we take as the most important thing that happens during the entire, I would say,
well, the booking process?
Yeah. No, that's exactly the point. So let me actually remove this. So that's a very good way to start. We should probably start from the event. So orange sticky, that is most relevant to our customer. Can you fill that in?
Well, has been booked, or should we say reserved? Booked or reserved?
Yeah, I think more like, yeah, probably reserved. I don't know if the domain wording here is better with booked or reserved. Probably booked. Everyone talks about booking here. And obviously, regardless if we do overbooking, regardless what happens next, when the customer reaches this point, we have them by the gut. Okay, well, that's probably a bit too harsh, but that's kind of the point. We want to get here. And in order to get here, we need to do a few other things. So let me go back because I don't know what your domain looks like. This looks like loyalty card related, loyalty card. So you modeled everything around the loyalty card, the examples, right?
Yeah, and the reason why I've done that is to demonstrate the variations in price and the effect that the two different rates have on the domain there. So obviously the flexible rate is going to be more expensive because it allows you to cancel and change the booking and so on. So
Okay.
it may.
Oh, there
I
we
mean,
go.
I
I,
think
I,
the
I
the first example. Sorry, say that again.
I heard a few things that were kind of like keywords.
Okay.
Canceled booking. I just heard it, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know where it happens. I just heard it. I'm gonna put it there.
You're
Keep
like a
going.
magician.
Yeah. Payment has been taken. That's
Yeah. Well, I've added that, and we need the rooms to be paid for. So.
I'm gonna take it and write it down anyway. Even if it's duplicate, we're going to figure out later which the correct terminology is. So, okay, so talk us through what you want this domain to do.
Right. So, well, we want to be able to book a room. So, working backwards from there, we want to be able to select a rate as well. So, let's say, oh, you're already on it. We want to book a select a duration. We want to pick the date.
Isn't that the same?
Well, no, because you check in on a date and you stay for like 3 days. So the duration would be, okay, you could do it one of two ways. You could say this is when I'm checking in, I'm staying for 3 nights, or you could say this is when I check in and this is when I check out.
Okay.
That I suppose is really a user interface thing, isn't it?
Possibly. Doesn't matter because for now there are things that are actually happening. So let's first write them down, then we figure out what is actually relevant to the domain as an outcome.
Now, if we're a loyalty card holder, we can use our points to discount the total as well. So
how would we call this? Something like complementary.
it's like I guess you could say like part pay.
Partly pay the fee. Something like that. How was it called? Loyalty card.
Yeah.
Loyalty card. Okay.
And assuming that the customer is paid for something, they can earn loyalty points after the payment has been taken as well.
Right. So
like
this
loyalty.
happens right after the payment for you.
Well, yeah, we want to make sure that we've received the money first, and then we can issue the points to their loyalty card account.
Redeemed, I guess.
No, redeemed is the other side, actually.
Oh yeah, that's me and my terrible English. So this is more loyalty points earned.
Yeah. So actually, the other one might be loyalty points redeemed against the total. Yeah.
Right.
What else do we have?
I'm just trying to make some space so we don't just get stuck with, just
that's fine.
Everything crammed together. These look like the same. We don't know if they're in order or not. Not yet, at least.
One thing I do like about this is it's very easy to move the stickies around. Much easier than in real life. That's for sure.
Yeah. I can already imagine that half of these already had fallen off
Yes.
and need replacement on a real wall or window. All right.
Okay. So,
So loyalty points redeemed, loyalty points earned. What else do we have? You say loyalty points are computed. Let me look at a couple policies. I'm obviously cheating here. I'm already looking at the specification you wrote. I'm just trying to figure out what else is there in this domain. The rates, there's some flexible rates and super saver rates. So there is a
so this would be
date rate selected.
yeah. So that'll be whether it's flexible or super saver, I expect.
What's the other one?
Super saver. I've invented these names, right? they're not real terms.
It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry. Marketing doesn't do anything better here anyway. They would probably call it this super ultra rate, whatever.
So I think that eliminates the room date rate selected sticky.
Yeah, wondering about that. Yeah, most likely, I guess. Let's drop it. Yeah,
I think that's covered that one
it's
off.
probably a bit too eager, but that's indeed the point, right? The two rates decide maybe something about the loyalty points, or I don't remember if that's actually applicable.
Hang on. Well, whether you are a loyalty card holder or not, obviously, if you have a loyalty card, you can enter it at the start. So, or at least in some point in the booking process, and you can say, I'm a loyalty card holder. This is my card number or whatever, like you put your Air Miles number in. And then that will allow you to redeem or earn points against that.
I would almost say that the loyalty points are redeemed for a discount is probably how they're a discounted rate, which is almost part of it's like an add-on to the rate selection. It's like another type of rate is a loyalty point discounted rate.
Interesting, yeah.
And from their accounting perspective, it's not paying for the room, it's actually them getting less money for the room.
That's a good shout, yeah. And even in the policies, actually, I've written it that way. Each 500 points used discounts the rate by £50.
Yeah.
So if you had like 1,000 points, you could discount it by £100.
But so does it apply to both policies, to both rates? Is that correct?
Yeah, it could apply to any rate.
So it applies after the rate was selected anyway, or before?
It could. It doesn't really come into play until you want to see the total.
Okay, so I'm gonna put it down here since it's not really related.
It can be entered at any time. Really, it's just when you want to see the discounted total is when you'd actually need to have that information.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. I'm gonna put it down here for now. Is it green? I don't remember. Yeah. This is the. We want to be able to see the current rate before we pay for it. We're not gonna pay if you don't show me what it is. So the input here will be these combinations of these plus all the dates, maybe the availability, I guess. Yeah, gonna put it down here. I realize I'm putting in some stuff that is way too forward in the process.
That's fine. That's fine. It's worth pointing out that I've ignored the fact that there are, of course, in real situations, there's different room types like single or twin or whatever. I've ignored that fact. All rooms are the same. So let's not worry about that.
It's just like economy class. Everyone is the same.
Yeah. So we have
okay,
number of nights. And what matters is not like when you book it, but whether you book it in term time or not. and that's the only thing that affects the price. So that's the stay dates selected back at the start. And then you choose flexible or super saver rate. And then you can use your loyalty points. Yeah, I think that's covered actually most of what we have.
There's one question that comes up here, and it's the loyalty points earned. Does that actually happen at payment? Because in this kind of system, I would just log in, pay for a lot of stuff, then cancel all my reservations, and just keep the points and stack them up until I'm back, and I can book it for free.
Usually you don't even, you only get a hold on your credit card and you don't pay until after your stay anyway, and then you earn points once the payment's been processed.
And that's kind of the point. There we go. So we got some more information. Do we pay at the reservation? Do we pay later? The payment has been taken.
They usually do like a credit card hold.
Well, this hotel requires prepayment.
Okay, so what happens if I refund?
Well, if you're on the flexible rate, you can cancel it and then you get it refunded. So this is your cancel a booking there on the right-hand side.
Oh, cancel the booking. There we go. So we have up here, we probably have some information, and I keep putting down the wrong color. That's so annoying. So this is some information about a refund issued for flexible rate.
So you can only cancel or change a booking if it's a flexible rate. If it's super saver rate, if you booked it, you've paid for it, that's it. That's why it's so cheap. Well, £200 a night is not exactly that cheap, but hey.
Loyalty points removed or canceled. Can't spell. Do we do here?
Deducted, maybe.
Deducted. Yeah, works. And I guess that happens in every case. It doesn't matter if you refund in one way or the other, the points get removed. Or do we want to keep giving you points if we steal the money?
Well, okay. Indeed, that's a hole, right? We want to plug that up front. Right. Let's also simplify and say we can't change bookings. If you want to change a booking,
cannot be cancelled.
Yeah, if you want to change a booking, you have to cancel it or and start again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's cool. That seems quite straightforward. Which makes me think, what have we missed?
Well, if you were to do this in a workshop, I can tell you there's enough material to keep people stuck for an entire day here. If you were to implement this.
Yeah.
So room availability is some kind of external system or service or something like that. Well, basically, we assume it's a given. We don't care about it. We probably need to deduct the availability at some point when the room has been booked. So we may need some sort of process notification to external systems. Yeah.
Yeah, also free up the room if it's been canceled.
Yeah, let me put here, there's in pink, external system, which is basically anything that will crash, burn, and hate you.
Yep.
And probably has a SOAP API. Yeah, it doesn't align at all. So annoying. Look at that.
It says it's aligned, but it's not. Oh, that's better.
Oh, I did it. It's not aligned, but almost. Okay.
It's got to be perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So there's an external system down here, which is, I would say, the hotel reservation system.
Yep, sure.
Right, and the hotel reservation system accepts a couple. I'm going to put them down as blue ones, commands. It's just things that we can tell it to do, which are book room and cancel reservation. And we don't care what happens in there. There's gonna be dragons, but that's not our problem. Right, I'll put it down somewhere here.
Would free room after a reservation's complete be a separate thing than cancel?
Well, depends. The external system, we just notify it. It's probably going to be one of those systems where we have to provide a lot of information when we cancel something. I can expect them to not have separate APIs, but well, the idea is basically that we can just allocate and deallocate. That's what I'm thinking, at least. Obviously, oversimplifying it, as the hotel reservation system is provided by myself, right?
Well,
I mean, that'd be good. Is allocate room and deallocate room.
That's basically all it is, right? That's you know, you could implement that as a Redis thing and just say there are 100 rooms. When you book one, take one away.
Yeah.
Okay, forget it.
But you need to have date ranges on them, but you could still do that.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So there needs to be a policy there. A room has
Key
been
name
booked.
could be like room-date.
Yeah.
It could be
right,
a 1 or a 0.
Actually, the room has been booked can only happen after we query the external system, because we don't know about it. We can't trust anyone. What was it? This is policy. Yeah, this is going to be something like when a room is booked.
No, when payment is taken.
Yeah. And as we did in the other event storming session, this goes down here, something like this.
Okay.
Right. And yeah, so that is going to raise somewhere the other event.
So
the loyalty points are earned.
Who causes this event to happen? Is that
good question.
That's going to
be
a response from this. So we're going to need a command to come back to say confirm that the room has been booked or something like that.
Well, that is already a command, so it produces an event. It could be modeled as a separate aggregate here. And then we copy the event. We did this already. Very similar to what we did with external systems for tracking commits. And we say when a room has been booked, notify the, what's it called, reservation, the internal reservation system. I'm gonna call it system. System is a perfect word. You can describe anything with system. And that's gonna be something like that's gonna need a command, another command here, and this is gonna be something like record successful reservation.
Yep, that makes sense.
Good enough, yeah. And I don't know about scenarios which lead to failures, but it seems to me that these systems will not likely, at least the external system will not be very automation friendly. And I can imagine that they're gonna expect the fax or something like that.
This particular hotel reservation system actually needs people to send a handwritten letter on company-headed letter
Nice.
paper, and then they call that through to a single person who may or may not be available. So there's a single point of failure in the process, and then they will give it a stamp to say it's approved or not.
Even if you're like, threatened by the ravenous backblatter piece of trial, even that scenario.
Well,
you still need to do it written.
The person may be out having a cigarette break, so then they can't book a room until they're back.
Right, so successful reservation raises an event in our system in which we just say the room reservation confirmed. I suppose when the confirmation is incoming, notify the customer. I guess that's a bit, superficial, but yeah, and there we go. And it can really, honestly, it can explode in complexity here. Right. It's kind of the one thing that I noticed is that the workshop, you started from the idea of modeling it around these two. Right? And you got enough material to keep people busy on just these two.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of some complexity that wasn't really considered there, so that's kind of cool. But that's kind of the point. That's what I want to demonstrate. I don't want it to be too simplistic. Like the checking in, checking out of a building is like super simplistic, and is great for demonstrating the concepts of writing a technical event source system. But I'm not trying to demonstrate event sourcing here as such. I'm trying to demonstrate a particular technique of brainstorming and exploring a particular domain.
I don't know. This can completely be written as a very normal aggregate. It's got a couple states. It can be a big mess if you make it one entity, but it doesn't need to be one sourced.
My point is it doesn't necessarily have to even be a technical process. It doesn't have to be, this is how we're going to go and implement it in the system. This is just a good tool for exploring and saying, how does this business work? What happens when this happens? And things like that. And although, yes, we are defining it within the framework that of event storming from Alberto Brandolini, that works quite nicely for just exploration and discovery and figuring out what's going on in this, because we've, as just by going through this, we've discovered, what happens when we book a room? We need to actually go through to this external system and figure out, is a room available or not, and things like that.
Yeah.
So, you can go straight into the hotel reservation system and say, actually, a room is not available for that date. But can we alert the customer earlier on and say, when they select their dates, their stay dates, can you query the hotel reservation system and say, is this date available? And then it'll come back and say, yes, it's available, or no, it's not available, and things like that. So, that stuff with the room availability view model, that's not something I'd considered.
Yeah, no, well, we absolutely didn't complete anything. I just want to ask Evan, is like, how does this look? Is it like a comprehensible modeling approach?
Seems like it to me.
Well, I'm gonna just label a couple things here that we didn't yet have. So one is external system that we, wrong. What did I do wrong here? So this one is the external reservation system modeled as an aggregate in our system. It's just collecting events that come from the outside. It's not doing much more. But so what I want to understand now, James, this is more about, we can obviously go on and model everything, okay? But I don't think that's beneficial, because we were just going to spike and figure out how much work can you figure out here from just doing this modeling. And I think there's like so much scope of stuff that can be built.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do then? Like you obviously have a time box of, I guess, 8 hours if you want to completely destroy these people.
Well, I'm limited to 3 hours, and
what?
Yeah, I'm limited to 3 hours for the whole tutorial. And this particular part, like the event storming part, is probably going to be like 40 minutes, I think.
Wow, you're optimistic, man. This was 40 minutes with me and you, and we already did this multiple times. Okay, so this is very optimistic. I think you can actually fill the entire workshop with just finishing the modeling here. So we need a section that we can work on, or we need to redefine scope of the workshop.
Yeah. No, this has been good. This is valuable, because now I can see sort of in context what it is. But
this wanker with the wine, need a beer.
Yeah, I think I need to box like the scope of what we do in the event storming. I think I'm gonna keep the domain, because it's got some like, it's got things that you might not necessarily think of straight away, which is what I quite like about this.
Yeah. Well, one thing that we absolutely didn't model around is the read models, but the problem is that the modeling here is already taking everything. So what else did you want to do in the workshop? Let's go back a step there, and let's figure out, what did you want to do during the workshop?
All right, there's lots of stuff here. Hang on, let me just bring up my. Oh, I've got it.
There were issues, right?
Yes.
Issues. There we go.
Yeah. So the planning exercise, like that's including all the other stuff about planning, is going to be like 40 minutes.
Okay, so let me just scope it a bit. If we were to go and simplify things, and we were to just plan interactions between two aggregates, we could get rid of the loyalty point stuff. I realize that's exactly what you wanted work on. And keep it just to the core reservation stuff, because the loyalty points is like an addendum to an existing reservation system. And if you were to model that, as you need to model that in order to get to the point where you have loyalty points. So I would remove the fares.
Okay.
Let me just delete them, right? We got this recorded anyway. I'm gonna remove the loyalty points.
Okay.
I'm gonna remove everything that has loyalty points. Where is it? Loyalty points, just gone. Up there, refund issued. A refund issued for flexible. No, refund issued. Let's keep those. Refund issues. Okay, no special fares, no nothing. And what else is there? When a payment is taken, successful reservation, notify customer of reservation. This looks much more manageable now.
You just brought in outside management for your hotel, and he just totally restructured everything.
Well, yeah, what me? Yeah.
Down these contractors.
Yeah, no, right. His contractors. No, but seriously, like, look at it now. Okay, so let's figure out if we were to add all the commands that were missing here. So the stay selected, and this is gonna be the input is gonna be select room. That's the command that comes in, right? This needs to come from these, right? Right. And
I think we can just go with stay dates selected rather than stay duration selected. I think that second one can go.
right, makes sense. So let's simplify. Payment has been taken. Payment room has been paid for. I personally prefer the room has been paid for.
Okay.
Over. I don't know. What's your preference there, Evan?
Yeah.
Naming.
Yeah, room has been paid for.
Okay. And then we have, yeah, so now we have, of course, we need to pay. It's simple for now, but right.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
room has
real
been
terms,
paid
it's going to
for.
be like this interaction with Stripe or something.
Good. That's actually very good because we can add it here, and that's gonna be anyway a mess. The payment gateway could be a mess, could not be a mess. We'll see. Let's just align, please. Okay. And then we have cancel the booking and booking refund issued. So to cancel a booking, we need to have the my pending, my future stays. That's like in my account.
Yeah.
Or user.
And then we have a command
And in
cancel
order.
booking.
Cancel a booking and yeah, look here already. If you were to do a mapping session, you could go completely wild about who is gonna do what. Right? The refund, I don't know, may or may not happen. Let's actually just add the policy here. I'm gonna just make a very brutal policy.
Yeah, and don't forget, let's also have, there's also the interaction with the payment gateway again.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Refund booking. Right. So we already got a lot of complexity here. And we still need, when a booking is canceled, we still need to notify the external reservation system. So, and by the way, I'm being a terrible enabler on this meeting because I'm basically doing everything. Freaking hell, people.
Cool. It's less work for me.
Interact, please.
No, I mean, this is kind of good because that's how I want the workshop to go. I want people to run away with it. So, I mean, within reason.
So there's another thing here. So my opinion here is this is not going to be 40 minutes anyway, but if you scope it down to just what we're seeing right now,
yeah,
right? So you're going to play dumb and say you're going to be the domain expert, play it a bit dumb, let people figure out things, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And if you know this is everything we want to talk about, depending on how much time it takes to figure out this one, the fact that there's an external aggregate and external system, this is the part that is kind of like probably the design architecture thing that is to be figured out by attendees. Yeah, besides that, I would say it will take you an hour at least. The development part, I don't know. It looks like a lot of stuff.
Like, we're not going to go and develop this from scratch, though. Bear in mind. All right, so
you're going to provide existing code for this?
Yeah. Basically, I'm going to write a bunch of code for it. I mean, there's going to be examples of good method naming, class naming, using value objects. Leveraging strict type declarations and things like that, so that we can have implicit trust in what the code is doing. So that's, yeah, I mean, we're going to go and sort of maybe take a couple of these aspects and convert them to code in the workshop. But a lot of it's going to be pre-written, and it's just going to be like a couple of exercises to go through there.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm thinking. So basically, you're going to provide existing code base, and you're going to ask somebody to fill the gaps. And what would you do? Would you provide a behat scenario with an empty context or a semi-filled context or something like that?
Well, for testing, we're going to be going through. I'm also going to provide examples of some awful, terrible, bad code, and provide a test with it that shows that it's still possible to test it. It's just not as nice. And then refactor that to put in dependency injection, better types, more meaningful methods, return earlies, things like that, less code branching.
Okay, but again, you're in 3 hours, and you seem to be basically describing half the other clean code talk that already takes 50 minutes. That's the problem there.
Yeah. I'm going to fit a lot in.
Okay.
Also having a look at infection PHP and code coverage and behavioral tests as well. So yeah,
So you're going to pilot there and be guiding the class rather than letting them do stuff here in the end.
Yeah, they're going to be. What I want to do is provide very sort of focused exercises that I know aren't going to take long, and just sort of demonstrate the concepts so that they can take away.
That's been my most successful way of doing workshops.
Yeah,
doing that instead of doing code-alongs. Code-alongs don't work for me because too many people get stuck and then just give up and stop following. And
yeah,
well,
at the end of the day, I don't want people to be like, "Oh, this works." I want them to see this is the concept that we're learning here, and even if you run it and it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. I don't care. The point is as long as you understand, why, reducing the number of code branches in a method is good. That's the point. Not, oh, yes, this method works. Great. My tests pass. Yeah.
Okay. So basically infection would show that or something like that. Like code branching showing that, oh yeah, you thought you went with full coverage and instead it's just messing with you.
And look, as I said, a lot of these examples are going to be pre-written as well. So it's just stuff they can copy and paste into their terminal. And if they want to run it and it runs and it works, that's great. If not, they can see the code, they can read what's going on. So there's still going to be, I'm still planning to have those interactive exercises. It's just, I want them to be like really short, focused, see how this works, have a quick play. Now let's move on. Because as you can see, there's so much content to get through that I want to just have a bit of a play around and then move on. Yeah.
My best way of distributing those has been just bring like 5-10 USB keys and put like exercise 1.zip, exercise 2.zip, exercise 3.zip on there.
Yeah. So okay, let me clarify one thing.
That just works for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What I do is I give them a Git repo and I push one tag after the other. And I just expect them to check out a new branch. And I make a pull request.
I just like the USB keys in case the internet there is not working well.
Well, it's a Git repo, so you can copy a Git repo on the USB key. But anyway, okay, it's fine. What I wanted to clear here with James, so this stuff that we're looking at, this example, will not be in the code then.
Yeah, parts of it, possibly most of it will be, but it's just going to be basic domain implementation. It's not going to be actually implemented as there's not going to be a database. There's not going to be any actions or middleware or anything like that. It's just going to be the domain.
Yeah, no, that I understand. It's just I'm telling you, well, you're planning to have this in 1 week or something?
Sorry?
You're planning to do this in 1 week or something?
Yes.
Yeah, good luck with just even writing the examples with all this. That's what I'm wondering about. It is a lot of stuff, even for somebody that has experience. That's what I'm saying.
I don't need sleep.
That's okay. That's your opinion.
I've done worse. I
crushed
did my Engine X talk like 2 days before.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm going to have to prepare a very similar workshop for the first days of May. So what I'm going to do is I have to take this particular domain, which honestly is fantastic for this, and do the same thing with doctrine.
With
which
what?
I will like with doctrine.
Oh, what that
So
ORM nonsense?
yeah, exactly. So I have to do
tried
the
using
ORM
that?
nonsense one, which is totally not a good fit. But you know that's what it is. That's what people still use, and apparently they want workshops. And honestly, I should stop providing them. And then the next day, the event sourcing workshop.
Cool. Nice. All right.
But I can use this. This one I can write.
Good. Good. Yeah. I mean, and please like reuse the code and stuff. I don't care. It's gonna be in that repo eventually when I start working on it. And I'm gonna write most of it tomorrow, probably.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, the it still has read models, which is a good way to, you know, like, oh, here we're going to make an elaborate query instead of using the ORM and destroying our system with memory overuse. And then proper aggregate design, value objects, something like that. But yeah, I'm very skeptical about the 3 hours, James. That's the only thing. I think people will get stuck on this one a lot.
Well, I mean, that's my responsibility to make sure that sort of we time box it adequately.
Yeah,
and
what you can do is, let's say that you go over time, you just take control, explain what you would do, how you would.
Look, listen, we're not necessarily trying. I'm not trying to map out a whole domain here. All I'm trying to do is demonstrate, like the usefulness of an event storming workshop.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the actual content of what we're doing is much less important.
Yeah.
So the point is that we can demonstrate, oh, this is a read model. This is information that the consumer will need to know in order to perform a command, and then the result of that command is an event, and blah blah blah. And you know how to do this, and how it can help you reason about a domain that you want to explore. Not necessarily, this is the domain that we're exploring. We need to look at it in great amount of detail, because the detail we look at this particular domain in, it doesn't matter too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because this is not a DDD, an event storming workshop. This is a how to improve the quality of your PHP applications workshop.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I'm so skeptical, because this stuff is going to take a lot of time. That's all I'm saying there.
Same could be said for a lot of the other stuff, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let me know if you need any help with the code or with the bad examples. I can just dig up something from some libraries that I don't like. And yeah.
Cool. All right. Thanks, folks. We shall end the video there.